God designed your body for fertility, but when the journey to parenthood feels like a heartbreaking mystery, it's so easy to feel lost. What if you could do more than just wait and wonder? What if you could take faith-filled, science-backed steps to restore your fertility and prepare for the baby you're praying for? I'm Dr. Trisha, a nurse practitioner and fertility consultant who's been where you are. I know the struggle between faith and frustration. That's why I created Fertility by Design, where faith meets science to empower you with real solutions, holistic healing, and biblical encouragement. Through expert insights and powerful success stories, you'll learn how to nourish your body, renew your mind, and trust God's perfect timing without feeling helpless in the process. You are not alone. Your fertility is not broken. So let's walk this journey together. What if infertility isn't just about getting pregnant, but about your body telling you something much deeper? I had spent years missing the clues, but once I started listening, everything started to change. So as I was trying to pursue all of my health journey focus first, we had spent a lot of time just really honing in on nutrition, working out consistently, really honing in on those foundations of health and taking the pressure off of the baby making. So at this point, we moved back to America. We have two beautiful children, a boy and a girl. And my husband was a little bit behind me to come home. He actually came home March of 2020, made it out of Iwakuni, Japan, literally with like 9 hours to spare. Let me tell you what, a time that I was leaning on the Lord for sure. There was a lot of prayers going up at that point because I had already moved back to America to get settled in our home. He was going to be gone at a Singapore air show anyway. I was like, you know what? Peace. I'm out. I'll see you back in America. And so thank goodness, thank the Lord, he made it out in time. And, we got settled. About a year after we had moved back to America, living in South Carolina, we decided, let's have another baby. So we had spent a lot of time, of course, like I said, taking care of our bodies. I had learned a lot. My mindset was totally different. I wasn't completely alone. So we tried again. We did have another miscarriage, but this time it was different for me. It was still an emotional roller coaster. I will not lie. I still spent a lot of time on my phone Googling symptoms of things because this miscarriage was a little bit different than any other one I had experienced. My HCG levels had gone up, but then they went down and then they went back up and then they came back down. And again, still felt like I got no answers from traditional medicine. But this time it was like really fueling the fire for me. And really, I knew that like it was going to be okay and that I was going to use this to help other people. Now, over time, I really started to make more and more connections of my overall health and how that was impacting my fertility. So it was in some of these moments where I started realizing, oh, wow, the thyroid medication, the levothyroxine that I had been on since I was 15 years old, those thyroid issues are actually connected to recurrent miscarriage. And that could be a piece of the puzzle. I knew that I was always quite the go-getter, and stress probably ruled a lot in my life, a lot more than I would like to admit. And I knew stress could start to affect low progesterone. And so I started to put together the pieces, realized I had low progesterone, advocated for myself when I got pregnant, before I got pregnant again, and was put on progesterone supplementation throughout my third pregnancy to help support that pregnancy. And I was okay with that. I felt good. I empowered myself. There is definitely a purpose for traditional medicine, and you'll never hear me say otherwise. It's just sometimes we just jump the gun on so many things. And this was one of those situations where if it was going to prevent me from having another loss, while I continued to figure out why my progesterone was low and how I could heal it, then that was okay for me. So that's what we did. We conceived our third child. We had our son. And after I had him about, only a couple of months, I was like, it's time. It is time for me to stop keeping all of what I have learned to myself and to start speaking it and shouting it from rooftops, because other people need to know what I've gone through, and other people need to know that there is hope and that they can get those answers, because no one told me my progesterone was low. No one offered to check it. I had to advocate all of that for myself and find that all out for myself without anyone really helping me. And that was scary to me. Like, how many other women were out there losing babies all because of something so simple that was just being completely overlooked? How many women had no idea how to care for their bodies and stored their bodies well, and it was just negatively affecting their fertility, and that's what was holding them back from having their babies? So I knew that it was very soon time for me to make a difference in this space. I'm going to skip forward a little bit into our story. After having my son and getting into this space, I knew it was my due diligence to continue to learn and grow as a practitioner to be able to help my clients. And that's when I started to really learn more about functional testing, like gut health testing and more comprehensive serum testing that takes a look at our overall health to really pull back layers and figure out what the root cause of fertility struggles were. And in that, I became my own guinea pig. So I remember doing a training through a lab company on the GI map test that I now use. I love it. It's my favorite test. I would talk about it all day long, but I decided to do it on myself first to experience it and to see if I had any issues and could learn on my own microbiome. And that's what I did. And I found not a ton of crazy things happening in there. However, there was some dysbiosis that actually connected to the reason why I may have been struggling with low progesterone and my thyroid as well. And so I took myself on my own little healing journey, built my own protocol with the help of my mentor that I learned from. And in that, fast forward, I not only got off of my levothyroxine medicine that I had been on since I was 15 years old and did not need it anymore. When we decided to put having a fourth child in the Lord's hands, we not only conceived very soon after that, but it was the first time we had never had a loss prior. And it was not necessary for me to be on progesterone because my progesterone levels were absolutely beautiful. And that was the moment where I was like, wow, I had already known, because I had already seen in the time before we decided to have that fourth child, how much this was helping others, how much the functional testing and getting to the root cause was helping others heal. And I was walking them through it. And then to see myself, of course, and use that as a testimony as well, that I got off my thyroid medicine, but then to see myself experience a normal pregnancy without experiencing loss first. Now, don't get me wrong, just like all the rest of you, there were times where I was waiting for the other shoe to drop. There was anxiety. But there was also this totally different level of trust in what God was doing in my story. And I was really practicing what I preach. Every day, I would say, thank you, Lord, that I am pregnant today. I don't know what this journey holds for me. I don't know what you have for me, but thank you, Lord, for being pregnant today. And I started every day like that. That is also what I teach to my clients as well. And when I saw those two pink lines this time around, things felt so much different. I had finally had the pregnancy that I had been praying for. But of course, the journey didn't end there. In fact, this all was really just kind of the beginning when I started digging into all of this. And in our next episode, I'm going to share more about how my personal breakthrough really even has led to something so much bigger, to my true calling to help others walk this same path. That's it for today's episode of Fertility by Design. I pray that you're walking away feeling encouraged, equipped, and reminded that while the wait may be hard, you are not alone. God is with you, and you have the power to take faith-filled steps toward the family you've been praying for. If this episode has blessed you, Don't keep it to yourself. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, leave a review to help more couples find hope, and share this with a friend who needs encouragement on their fertility journey. Need even more support? Let's connect. Find me on Instagram at Trisha Zehrung for faith-filled fertility guidance, real solutions, and a community that just understands. Remember, your fertility is not broken. Your body is beautifully and wonderfully designed, and God's plan is always perfect. Keep believing, keep learning, keep praying, and keep taking action. I'll see you next time.